What is the primary purpose of a phase 1 clinical trial in pharmacy? A. Assessing safety. B. Determining efficacy. C. Comparing treatments. D. Monitoring long-term effects. The correct answer is A. Phase 1 clinical trials primarily focus on assessing the safety and tolerability of a new drug. In a phase 2 clinical trial, researchers primarily focus on A. Evaluating safety. B. Determining dosing. C. Assessing long-term effects. D. Comparing treatments. The correct answer is B. Phase 2 clinical trials primarily focus on determining the optimal dosing of a new drug. Which phase of clinical trials involves the largest number of participants? A. Phase 1. B. Phase 2. C. Phase 3. D. Phase 4. The correct answer is C. Phase 3 clinical trials typically involve the largest number of participants to confirm the effectiveness of a new drug. What is the main goal of a Phase 4 clinical trial in pharmacy? A. Assessing safety. B. Evaluating efficacy. C. Comparing treatments. D. Monitoring long-term effects. The correct answer is D. Phase 4 clinical trials focus on monitoring the long-term safety and effectiveness of a drug after it's been approved for use. Which type of clinical trial compares a new treatment to the standard of care? A. Randomized controlled trial. B. Observational study. C. Cohort study. D. Case control study. The correct answer is A. Randomized controlled trials are used to compare the effectiveness of different treatments in a controlled setting. What is the purpose of the placebo in a clinical trial? A. To provide a baseline for comparison. B. To ensure blinding of researchers. C. To cause side effects. D. To guarantee participant safety. The correct answer is A. Placebos are used to provide a baseline for comparison, to assess the true effects of a new treatment. In a double-blind clinical trial, who doesn't know which treatment each person's getting? A. Only the participants. B. Only the researchers. C. Both the participants and the researchers. D. Nobody is unaware. The correct answer is C. In a double-blind trial, both the participants and the researchers are unaware of which treatment each participant is receiving. What is the purpose of an informed consent process in clinical trials? A. To ensure participants are paid for participating. B. To provide detailed information about the trial. C. To exclude certain participants. D. To guarantee a positive outcome. The correct answer is B. The informed consent process ensures that participants are fully informed about the study's purpose, procedures, risks, and benefits before they decide to participate. Which phase of clinical trials is crucial for determining whether a new drug will be approved by regulatory agencies? A. Phase 1. B. Phase 2. C. Phase 3. D. Phase 4. The correct answer is C. Phase 3 clinical trials are crucial for gathering the necessary data to support the approval of a new drug by regulatory agencies. What is the role of an institutional review board, or IRB, in clinical trials? A. To recruit participants. B. To monitor side effects. C. To provide informed consent. D. To protect participants' rights and safety. The correct answer is D. IRBs are responsible for protecting participants' rights, safety, and welfare in clinical trials by reviewing and approving study protocols. What is the purpose of randomization in a pharmacy clinical trial? A. To ensure that each participant receives the same treatment. B. To minimize bias and ensure the groups being compared are similar. C. To make the trial more expensive. D. To guarantee the success of the trial. The correct answer is B. Randomization helps minimize bias by ensuring that each participant has an equal chance of receiving any of the treatments being studied. Which phase of clinical trials uses a small group of healthy volunteers to check the safety and dosage of a new drug? A. Phase 1. B. Phase 2. C. Phase 3. D. Phase 4. The correct answer is A. Phase 1 trials use a small number of healthy volunteers to check the safety, side effects, and best dose of a new drug. What is the purpose of a crossover clinical trial design in pharmacy research? A. To test the same treatment on different groups of participants. B. To compare two different treatments on the same group of participants. C. To increase the cost of the trial. D. To confuse participants about the treatment they are receiving. The correct answer is B. In a crossover design, each participant receives both treatments at different times, allowing for a direct comparison within the same group of participants. Which type of clinical trial investigates how a new drug interacts with the body and how the body processes the drug? A. Pharmacokinetic trial. B. Pharmacodynamic trial. C. Phase 2 trial. D. Open label trial. The correct answer is A. Pharmacokinetic trials focus on how the body absorbs, distributes, metabolizes, and excretes the drug, providing essential information on dosing and potential interactions. What is the purpose of a washout period in a pharmacy clinical trial? A. To clean the trial site before starting the trial. B. To allow participants to rest between treatment periods. C. To eliminate the effects of a previous treatment before starting a new one. D. To increase the duration of the trial. The correct answer is C. A washout period allows the effects of a previous treatment to diminish before starting a new one, reducing potential carryover effects. In a placebo-controlled clinical trial, what is the role of the placebo? A. To ensure that participants receive the active treatment. B. To test the reliability of the study results. C. To provide a reference point for comparison with the active treatment. D. To save costs in the trial. The correct answer is C. Placebos are used to provide a reference point for comparing the effects of the active treatment and help determine if the treatment is effective. What is the purpose of blinding in a clinical trial? A. To hide the research results from the participants. B. To ensure that the researchers are unbiased in their assessment. C. To prevent participants from learning about the trial's purpose. D. To reduce bias by preventing participants and researchers from knowing who is receiving which treatment. The correct answer is D. Blinding helps reduce bias by preventing participants and researchers from knowing which treatment each participant is receiving. This can influence their perception of the results. What is the significance of a primary endpoint in a pharmacy clinical trial? A. It is the most critical point in the trial timeline. B. It indicates the start of the trial. C. It is the main outcome measure used to evaluate the effectiveness of the treatment. D. It represents the final results of the trial. The correct answer is C. The primary endpoint is the main outcome measure used to determine the effectiveness of the treatment being studied in a clinical trial. What role does a data monitoring committee, or DMC, play in a clinical trial? A. To recruit participants for the trial. B. To analyze the trial results and recommend any necessary changes to protect participant safety. C. To provide financial support for the trial. D. To promote the trial to the public. The correct answer is B. The Data Monitoring Committee is responsible for monitoring the trial's progress, evaluating safety data, and making recommendations about the trial's continuation or modification to protect participants' safety. What is the purpose of the run-in phase in a pharmacy clinical trial? A. To establish baseline data. B. To test the effectiveness of the treatment. C. To evaluate potential side effects. D. To assess participant compliance. The correct answer is A. The run-in phase helps establish baseline data before the actual trial begins. What ethical principle underlies randomly assigning participants to different treatment groups in a clinical trial? A. Autonomy. B. Beneficence. C. Justice. D. Non-maleficence. The correct answer is C. Random assignment promotes the ethical principle of justice by ensuring fairness in how participants are allocated to treatment groups. In a crossover design clinical trial, what's a key advantage compared to parallel group design trials? A. Reduced risk of selection bias. B. Faster study completion. C. Lower cost. D. Individual participant acts as their own control. The correct answer is D. Participants serve as their own control in crossover trials, reducing variability and improving study efficiency. What phase of clinical trials specifically assesses the therapeutic effectiveness and safety of a new drug compared to existing treatments or a placebo? A. Phase 3. B. Phase 2. C. Phase 4. D. Phase 1. The correct answer is A. Phase 3 trials aim to establish the effectiveness and safety profile of a new drug in a larger patient population. What is the purpose of a parallel group design in a clinical trial? A. To maximize statistical power. B. To minimize carryover effects. C. To reduce variability in treatment effects. D. To simplify study logistics. The correct answer is A. Parallel group designs help maximize statistical power by comparing treatments across separate groups of participants. In a pharmacokinetic study, which parameter describes the total amount of drug in the body at a given time after administration? A. Clearance. B. Volume of distribution. C. Half-life. D. AUC, or area under the curve. The correct answer is D. AUC represents the total amount of drug in the body over time and is commonly used in pharmacokinetic studies. What is the primary role of a clinical research coordinator, or CRC, in a pharmacy clinical trial? A. Conducting statistical analysis. B. Recruiting and enrolling participants. C. Interpreting study results. D. Writing study protocols. The correct answer is B. CRCs are responsible for participant recruitment and enrollment, ensuring the study progresses as planned. What term describes selecting study participants who represent the larger population in a pharmacy clinical trial? A. Biostatistics. B. Convenience sampling. C. Randomization. D. External validity. The correct answer is D. External validity refers to how well the study results apply to a larger group of people. What regulatory agency oversees and approves clinical trials in the United States? A. EMA, European Medicines Agency. B. FDA, Food and Drug Administration. C. MHRA, Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency. D. EMA and FDA. The correct answer is B. The FDA oversees clinical trials in the United States, ensuring they meet regulatory standards for safety and efficacy. What is the significance of a pharmacovigilance program in post-marketing drug surveillance? A. Ensuring compliance with GCP regulations. B. Monitoring and reporting adverse drug reactions. C. Determining drug efficacy in real-world settings. D. Assessing drug interactions with food and beverages. The correct answer is B. Pharmacovigilance programs focus on detecting, assessing, and preventing adverse effects of drugs in real-world use after they are approved for marketing. What is the purpose of a run-in phase in a pharmacy clinical trial? A. To establish a baseline measurement before the actual trial begins. B. To introduce participants to the study procedures. C. To assess long-term effects of the drug. D. To analyze the efficacy of the placebo. The correct answer is A. The run-in phase helps establish a baseline measurement before the actual trial begins, allowing researchers to compare changes during the study. What is the primary goal of a data monitoring committee, or DMC, in a clinical trial? A. To ensure participant enrollment targets are met. B. To review and analyze safety and efficacy data during the trial. C. To administer the study drug to participants. D. To conduct statistical analysis at the end of the trial. The correct answer is B. The Data Monitoring Committee, or DMC, plays a crucial role in reviewing and analyzing safety and efficacy data during the trial. This ensures participant safety and trial integrity. What role does a clinical research coordinator, or CRC, play in a pharmacy clinical trial? A. Supervising the trial's principal investigator. B. Recruiting and managing study participants. C. Interpreting study results and drawing conclusions. D. Handling the regulatory approval process for the trial. The correct answer is B. The CRC is responsible for recruiting and managing study participants, coordinating study visits, and ensuring compliance with study protocols. Why is blinding implemented in a clinical trial? A. To recruit a diverse range of participants. B. To prevent bias in outcome assessments. C. To ensure that all participants complete the trial. D. To match placebo and active treatment groups. The correct answer is B. Blinding helps prevent bias in outcome assessments by keeping participants, researchers, and assessors unaware of the assigned treatments. What is the purpose of a washout period in a pharmacy clinical trial? A. To wash participants' hands to remove potential contaminants. B. To allow any remnants of the previous treatment to be eliminated from the body. C. To assess the optimal dosage of a new drug. D. To ensure participants remain compliant with the study protocol. The correct answer is B. The washout period allows any remnants of the previous treatment to be eliminated from the body before starting a new intervention, reducing the risk of interactions between treatments. In a pharmacokinetic study, what parameter describes the total amount of drug in the body at a given time after administration? A. Clearance. B. Volume of distribution. C. Half-life. D. Area under the curve, AUC. The correct answer is D. The area under the curve, or AUC, in a pharmacokinetic study represents the total amount of drug in the body over time. This provides insights into drug exposure and overall drug disposition. What is the primary purpose of a pharmacovigilance program in post-marketing surveillance of drugs? A. To promote the use of new drugs in clinical practice. B. To monitor and evaluate adverse effects of approved drugs. C. To conduct pre-market testing of pharmaceuticals. D. To increase the price of existing medications. The correct answer is B. Pharmacovigilance programs monitor and evaluate adverse effects of approved drugs in real-world settings to ensure their continued safety and efficacy. What regulatory agency oversees and approves clinical trials in the United States? A. Food and Drug Administration, FDA. B. European Medicines Agency, EMA. C. World Health Organization, WHO. D. National Institutes of Health, NI. The correct answer is A. The Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, in the United States oversees and approves clinical trials. This ensures drug safety and efficacy before they're allowed on the market. What is the significance of a parallel group design in a clinical trial? A. It allows for direct comparisons between different interventions. B. It ensures that each participant receives all treatments in a random order. C. It involves multiple study sites across different countries. D. It focuses on individual responses rather than group comparisons. The correct answer is A. Parallel group design allows for direct comparisons between different interventions by assigning participants to distinct treatment groups, facilitating the evaluation of treatment effects and efficacy. What type of clinical trial investigates the safety and dosage of a new drug in a small group of healthy volunteers? A. Phase 1, B. Phase 2, C. Phase 3, D. Phase 4. The correct answer is A. Phase 1 clinical trials focus on evaluating the safety and dosage of a new drug in a small group of healthy volunteers before moving to larger populations. In a clinical trial, what's the purpose of the control group? A. To serve as a comparison for the experimental group. B. To receive the standard treatment. C. To ensure blinding is maintained. D. To provide informed consent. The correct answer is A. The control group serves as a comparison for the experimental group, allowing researchers to evaluate the effectiveness of the new treatment. What is the primary goal of a Phase 3 clinical trial in pharmacy research? A. To assess the therapeutic effectiveness and safety of a new drug compared to existing treatments or placebo. B. To evaluate the safety and dosage of a new drug in healthy volunteers. C. To investigate how a new drug interacts with the body and its pharmacokinetics. D. To compare the efficacy of the new treatment to the current standard of care. The correct answer is A. Phase 3 trials focus on evaluating the therapeutic effectiveness and safety of a new drug compared to existing treatments or a placebo, to support regulatory approval. What is the role of a principal investigator, or PI, in a clinical trial? A. To oversee the entire study, including protocol development and participant recruitment. B. To dispense medications to participants. C. To analyze the study data and report results. D. To provide medical care to participants during the trial. The correct answer is A. The principal investigator is responsible for overseeing the entire study, including protocol development, participant recruitment, and ensuring compliance with regulations. What is the purpose of stratification in a clinical trial design? A. To balance important variables between treatment groups. B. To blind participants to the treatment they receive. C. To randomize participants into different groups. D. To determine the sample size needed for the study. The correct answer is A. Less than break time equals 1s greater than. Stratification helps balance important variables, like age or severity of illness, between treatment groups. This reduces bias and improves the reliability of study results. What is the significance of adverse event reporting in a clinical trial? A. To monitor and document any unwanted or harmful effects of the study intervention. B. To exclude participants who experience adverse events from the trial. C. To increase the sample size of the study. D. To promote the study results to the media. The correct answer is A. Adverse event reporting is crucial in monitoring and documenting any unwanted or harmful effects of the study intervention to ensure participant safety and data integrity. Which phase of a clinical trial assesses the efficacy and safety of a new drug in a larger population to confirm results from earlier phases? A. Phase 3. B. Phase 2. C. Phase 1. D. Phase 4. The correct answer is A. Phase 3 trials aim to assess the efficacy and safety of a new drug in a larger population, to confirm results from earlier phases and support regulatory approval. What is the purpose of randomization in a clinical trial? A. To minimize bias and distribute characteristics evenly across treatment groups. B. To ensure that participants receive the same treatment throughout the study. C. To determine the sample size needed for the study. D. To select the most appropriate statistical analysis for the trial. The correct answer is A. Randomization helps minimize bias and distribute participant characteristics evenly across treatment groups, increasing the validity of study results. What is the primary role of a clinical research coordinator, or CRC, in a clinical trial? A. To manage the day-to-day operations of the study, including participant recruitment and data collection. B. To analyze the study data and interpret results. C. To provide medical care to participants during the trial. D. To oversee the ethical aspects of the study. The correct answer is A. Clinical research coordinators manage the day-to-day study operations. This includes participant recruitment, data collection, and ensuring protocol compliance. What is the purpose of a crossover clinical trial design in pharmacy research? A. To compare the effects of different treatments within the same participants. B. To test the safety and dosage of a new drug in healthy volunteers. C. To evaluate the therapeutic effectiveness and safety of a new drug compared to existing treatments. D. To investigate how a new drug interacts with the body and its pharmacokinetics. The correct answer is A. Crossover trials involve participants receiving multiple treatments in a specific sequence, allowing researchers to compare the effects of different treatments within the same individuals. What is the primary purpose of blinding in a clinical trial? A. To reduce bias and ensure objectivity in data analysis. B. To increase the number of participants in the trial. C. To speed up the trial process. D. To ensure all participants receive the same treatment. The correct answer is A. Blinding helps reduce bias and ensure objectivity in data analysis by preventing participants and researchers from knowing which treatment each participant received. In pharmacy clinical trials, what's the role of a data monitoring committee, or DMC? A. To review and assess safety and efficacy data during the trial. B. To conduct informed consent procedures for participants. C. To analyze the pharmacokinetics of the investigational drug. D. To recruit participants for the trial. The correct answer is A. The Data Monitoring Committee, or DMC, reviews and assesses safety and efficacy data during the trial. This ensures participant safety and allows them to recommend continuing, modifying, or terminating the trial. What is the purpose of stratification in a clinical trial design? A. To ensure equal distribution of key participant characteristics in different treatment groups. B. To exclude certain participants from the trial. C. To increase the cost of the trial. D. To speed up the recruitment process. The correct answer is A. Stratification is used to ensure equal distribution of key participant characteristics, like age, gender, and disease severity, across different treatment groups. This minimizes how these factors affect treatment outcomes. What is the primary goal of a Phase 3 clinical trial in pharmacy research? A. To confirm the safety and efficacy of a new drug in a larger population. B. To evaluate the pharmacokinetics of the drug. C. To determine the optimal dosage of the drug. D. To assess the drug's impact on healthy volunteers. The correct answer is A. The primary goal of a phase 3 clinical trial is to confirm the safety and efficacy of a new drug in a larger population, to provide substantial evidence of its benefits and risks for regulatory approval. What ethical principle justifies randomly assigning participants to different treatment groups in a clinical trial? A. Justice. B. Beneficence. C. Non-maleficence. D. Respect for autonomy. The correct answer is A. The ethical principle of justice justifies the random assignment of participants to different treatment groups in a clinical trial. This ensures fairness and equal distribution of risks and benefits among participants.